Hey guys, Paul from Montana. I'm working on my A.R.E. fiberglass topper for my truck, and this thing's 20 years old, so it finally rattled off the rails. These are the rails that you actually clamp to the bed rails in your truck. Maybe this has never happened to anybody, but I thought I'd take a video to show you how it all goes together and how I'm going to fix it. So anyhow, those rails came unglued basically from both sides of the shell. You can see this area here. I've got it all cleaned up the best that I can to reinstall them. But here's the aluminum rails that I removed. I had to cut all the carpeting out and I had to take these off, and I've got them pretty well cleaned up, ready for reinstallation. Out on the end of the extrusion, there's this little aluminum casting that gets riveted on here. Mine are kind of compromised. They've had some salt issues over the years. They put a lot of salt on the roads around here, so I had to flap disc this down to get clean, but the aluminum itself is thinner and kind of compromised. So when I reinstall this on here, I think I'm going to use some like button head screws and make sure it's just back together nice and tight. Rivets might not hold super good, and then if I need to, I'll buff the button head down a little bit so it's flatter, for when this thing goes back on the truck. And then I'm going to I bought some fuser, I think it's 208B. It's epoxy that's used in body shops, and I'm going to apply a bead on here and spread it all out fairly thin on this entire surface here. Additionally, put a bead on here and spread it out nice and thin on the mating surface, and then I'll come back in and put I'm going to probably do it on the extrusion here, but put a bead of that fuser product on here in kind of a nice thick kind of snake pattern all the way across here, to make sure that when I clamp this part onto here, it really takes up any spaces, and that's super good epoxy. It should hold this thing back together for the rest of its lifetime. And I'm just going to put a whole bunch of squeeze clamps on here, every foot or something like that. Really clamp it in tight, and then once it's all back in, I'll reinstall some bolts through here the same way I did on that back casting I showed you. I'm not going to rivet these. I'm just going to put bolts all the way through, and then if I have to kind of flap disc that bump off that button head bolt to make it more like a rivet, that's what I'll do. And last but not least, I bought felt, like heavy duty felt. It's just like the stuff that's in this topper, and I'm going to spray some of this 3M high strength 90 spray adhesive on this surface, and put new felt in here the best that I can, join it in with this. It's not going to be super awesome, but hey, it's better than going out and buying a new topper. These things are expensive, especially this one. It's pretty good quality topper. Anyhow, I just thought I'd shoot this video because if you're having issues with your topper kind of sagging on your bed rails on your truck, check these out. Maybe you got some glue problems and you need to take it apart and put it back together. All right, thanks for watching.